Hey guys, and welcome back for another review. Today we'll be reviewing IPVanish. IPVanish is a pretty popular VPN service. It boasts a large server network and claims to deliver fast and reliable speeds. But of course, before you sign up, you'll want to sit back and watch because it wasn't all great in our testing. Yes, this VPN comes with some pros and cons you'll want to consider. To determine how IPVanish stacks up against other VPN services, we ran it through a barrage of tests. First, we'll cover an overview explaining the review findings, then we'll dive deep into the details. So here are the pros and cons of IPVanish. The pros: we have a large selection of apps for different devices. We have good privacy features, encryption, and leak protection settings. We have live chat, email, and telephone support, as well as unlimited connections. Now, the cons we found are clunky desktop apps. It's based in the US, so you got the Five Eyes. And it's now owned by J2 Global, which we'll get into. We have a limited refund policy. And finally, we found a bad track record. They cooperated with the FBI on logs. So without further ado, let's get into the details of this IPVanish review. IPVanish has an interesting history. Unlike VPNs such as Surfshark and NordVPN, IPVanish has been bought and sold off twice over the past few years. So a brief summary of IPVanish's background based on our research for this review is as follows. IPVanish was founded by Mudhook Marketing in 2012, a subsidiary of Highwinds Network Group. In 2017, StackPath acquired Highwinds Network Group, which also included IPVanish. In 2019, IPVanish was again acquired by J2 Global under their NetProtect business. So J2 Global is the parent company for many websites that publish reviews, such as PCMag. In addition to IPVanish, J2 Global also acquired StrongVPN and Encrypt.me, as well as SugarSync, which is a secure cloud storage device service. With J2 Global owning this collection of VPN services, you now have a situation where VPN review websites recommend basically the same products that are owned by the parent company. This, of course, is a dubious situation. We'll examine exactly the IPVanish logging scandal further on in the video. Now, let's get to talking about the speed tests. On its website, IPVanish claims to offer the best VPN speeds through their top-tier server network with locations all around the world. In terms of speeds, IPVanish has historically lagged behind other top-rated VPNs. For this review, I tested numerous servers throughout the network. My baseline non-VPN connection speed was about 500 Mbps. I ran all tests using the official IPVanish Windows app with the OpenVPN protocol from my location. First up was a IPVanish server in Seattle. At only 79 Mbps, this is much slower than my baseline speed. So we're not off to a good start with these IPVanish speed tests. Next up was an IPVanish server in LA. Once again, the IPVanish speeds were not very good, coming in at only about 68 Mbps. Next, I ran some tests with an IPVanish server in New York. This was the slowest IPVanish service I tested. Based on all the tests I ran with IPVanish servers in the US, I must conclude that this is not a fast VPN whatsoever. Just to check, I also tested an IPVanish server in the United Kingdom, and the speeds in the UK were about 43 Mbps. Again, we are seeing that IPVanish does not offer good UK VPN server speeds. Overall, we see that IPVanish does not have consistent or fast speeds. In comparison to other top VPNs, IPVanish does not do very well in terms of speeds. NordVPN does very well with performance because it supports the WireGuard VPN protocol. This offers much faster speeds than other protocols, along with upgraded security and improved encryption. Now let's talk about IPVanish Apps. IPVanish provides a pretty wide selection of applications for many devices and platforms. IPVanish has long positioned itself as a good VPN for streaming with a wide variety of apps for pretty much all types of streaming devices. And if they don't offer a dedicated app, then IPVanish probably still supports the device or operating system. Here are a few options you have using IPVanish in the picture below. For this IPVanish review, I tested out their apps on Windows, Mac OS, and Android. The IPVanish Windows app did all right in testing. It is user-friendly, stable, and never froze up or crashed. One issue I did notice, however, is that the connection times could take quite a while. We also tested IPVanish Mac OS. The IPVanish Mac OS app also did well in testing. This is an updated and improved version over the IPVanish Mac OS apps I've tested in the past, which also had some bugs and crashes in our testing. I did not notice any bugs or connection issues with the new macOS app. Later on, we will also make a follow-up video for the best VPNs on Mac. So keep yourself posted, as that'll be coming soon. Now, back to this review. The IPVanish Android app performed well in testing without any issues to report. It has a good design and was stable in testing. Overall, the IPVanish apps feel clunky and outdated. This is especially true in comparison to some of the newer VPNs. Another new update with IPVanish is that it now offers an unlimited number of device connections. Most VPNs limit the number of devices to between 4 and 7. One other VPN that gives you an unlimited number of device connections is Surfshark VPN, and it also comes at a lot cheaper of a price. IPVanish uses the OpenVPN protocol with AES 256-bit encryption. This is the gold standard for VPNs, and it is currently considered unbreakable. There are some drawbacks with OpenVPN, however, such as slower speeds and bad mobile performance. This is why WireGuard is growing in popularity. IPVanish performed well in privacy and security tests for this review. I tested IPVanish for IP address leaks, both IPv4 and IPv6, and of course DNS leaks. Prior to running these tests, I verified the following privacy and security settings were active: IPv6 leak protection. IPVanish provides you with an IP4 address while blocking IPv6 and ensuring your real IPv6 address does not leak out of the tunnel. DNS leak protection. All of your DNS requests are handled by IPVanish Servers, with DNS leak protection activated by default, and a kill switch. A kill switch will block all traffic if the VPN connection drops to keep your data and identity secure. Everything passed with no issues or leaks to report. Just like the Windows VPN app tests above, the macOS app also passed the test without any leaks discovered. Now let's talk about IPVanish servers. One benefit you get with IPVanish is access to a large server network with locations spanning all around the world. This currently includes 75 plus worldwide locations, 1,600 and up servers, and 40,000 plus IP addresses. What good is a large server network? Well, more servers generally means better speeds as there is more available bandwidth per user. This also helps you to select specific servers for different needs, whether you're looking for a nearby server in your area or another geographic location for accessing media. If you need a VPN for gaming, a large network can help you choose a close server to minimize ping times or your latency. And it also gives you more options for geo-spoofing your location, which may be useful when purchasing items online. Now, for something very important, guys, does IPVanish use virtual server locations? A virtual server locations is when a server that is advertised as being in a certain location is not actually there. For example, I found that PureVPN has many servers that are not actually in the advertised location, and they do not disclose this to their users. You can identify virtual server locations by using ping tests to triangulate the exact location. With IPVanish, I tested a number of different servers and they all checked out. It does not appear that IPVanish is using any virtual server locations. Let's briefly talk about the pros and cons of using virtual servers. So for pros, you have faster speeds. As you already know, in most cases, the VPN speeds dip when connecting to longer distance servers. Using a virtual server can alleviate dips in connection speeds. For instance, consider a case where you want to bypass geo-blocking content in India from Scotland, and your VPN gives you options to connect directly to India's physical servers or virtual server location via the UK. You will get faster speeds when connecting via the virtual server location than when connecting directly to the physical servers. However, that's not always the case, as virtual servers see a much bigger dip in performance when there are many users on the same server. Now for the cons, there are cases where a VPN provider allows you to connect to secure countries but routes your traffic through unfavorable jurisdictions. For example, to operate its fake location in Panama, ExpressVPN uses its physical machines in Brazil. However, in terms of data privacy laws, Panama is one of the most privacy-friendly countries, while Brazil has more invasive laws. To be on the safe side, avoid connecting to virtual servers that route your data via jurisdictions that aren't privacy friendly. Now, we have to talk about something very concerning regarding their no-log policy. IPVanish is a zero traffic logs VPN service, as they explain on their website. But before getting into their exact logging policy, we'll first examine a logging case that happened a few years ago. In 2016, when IPVanish was owned and operated by a different company, they cooperated with the FBI for a criminal case. In this specific case, they provided connection data to authorities after the FBI made two separate requests during an investigation. This is concerning from a privacy standpoint, especially since IPVanish claims to have no log policy. IPVanish is now owned by a company called J2 Global, which also owns various media outlets. This logging case happened when IPVanish was owned and operated by High Winds Network Group in 2016. The sale to StackPath took place in February 2017, after the logging case. I requested clarification about this from IPVanish, and they provided me with the following statement. That court case was from 2016, long before StackPath acquired IPVanish in 2017. IPVanish has not, and will not log or store logs of our users as a StackPath company. We can't speak to what happened on someone else's watch, and that management team is long gone. This case once again illustrates the fundamental issue when choosing a VPN service, and that's trust. Unfortunately, there have been a few different cases where VPNs have been found to flagrantly violating their no logs claims while providing customer data to authorities. So, can you trust any VPN service? Well, there have been a few VPNs that have had their logging claims verified by criminal cases. Here's one example of these cases. In 2017, Perfect Privacy, based in Switzerland, had two servers seized in Rotterdam. Thanks to the no logs and all servers operating in RAM disk mode, no customer data was affected. This exact reason for the server seizure has not been publicly disclosed by Dutch authorities. This case also illustrates the importance of choosing a VPN in a good privacy jurisdiction outside of the Five Eyes and 14 countries. After all, US authorities have the ability to force any company to log user data while at the same time hitting them with a gag order to prohibit any kind of disclosure. As you can see from the affidavit above, US authorities continued putting pressure on IPVanish until they agreed to turn over user data. US authorities have also been successful in obtaining data from overseas VPN providers, as seen in the case with PureVPN. The point of this is to highlight the facts surrounding this IPVanish logging case and to illustrate some of the problems with no-log claims in the VPN industry. So it depends if you want to take their word for it. But as we all know, when it comes to these VPN providers, trust is hard to come by, and I, for one, doubt their statement. Overall, the logging case is troubling because it undermines the credibility of IPVanish and the trustworthiness of those operating the company. Is IPVanish still worthy of your trust? Only you can decide. Now let's talk about Netflix streaming tests. In our tests for this review, IPVanish does not work well with Netflix on a consistent basis. Unfortunately, all of the IPVanish servers I tried seem to be blocked by Netflix. This results in Netflix only showing you the Netflix originals, but not being able to access country-specific Netflix libraries. For example, I tested out US Netflix with IPVanish and was blocked. The support person I chatted with also confirmed IPVanish's difficulty in accessing Netflix. When you try, you will get the annoying Netflix proxy error message. Later on, we will also make a video of the best VPN options for streaming on Netflix. Does IPVanish work in China? As of right now, IPVanish is not the best VPN to use in China. This is because it does not put an emphasis on obfuscation features. Obfuscation features conceal VPN traffic as regular HTTPS, thereby allowing you to easily get around VPN blocks. VPNs that offer good obfuscation features and work well in China are NordVPN and ViperVPN. Obfuscation is also useful whenever VPNs may be blocked. This may include school networks or perhaps work networks where internet activities are restricted. Now let's talk about torrenting. Many VPNs restrict or limit torrenting on their network. There are 4 factors that make a VPN provider a good choice for torrenting. Number 1, high performance premium server network with exceptionally fast speeds and great reliability. Secondly, no bandwidth limitations or traffic restrictions. With IPVanish, torrenting is allowed without any restrictions or limitations. However, there is one major drawback, which makes it useless. Overseas jurisdiction that is not subject to DMCA requests or copyright violation demands. As you know, IPVanish is based in the US and completely falls under the US laws. So it won't ignore DMCA requests, and you can get into serious trouble for that. We will make a future follow-up video on the best providers to choose for torrenting. Now let's talk about the cost of IPVanish. It's about average, not really the best cheap VPN, but also not an expensive VPN. Right now, they are offering 2 different pricing options. You can choose either the VPN alone or the VPN combined with SugarSync, a secure cloud storage option. One thing to note about refunds is that IPVanish advertises a 30-day money-back guarantee on the home page, but you need to read the fine print. While there is a 30-day refund window for the annual plan, the monthly plans do not qualify for a refund. Most VPNs now offer a full 30-day money-back guarantee. So seeing that IPVanish doesn't offer this is disappointing, to say the least. Now for payment methods. At this time of the current IPVanish review, the only payment methods that are accepted are credit cards and PayPal. This means that there is no support for cryptocurrency payments, gift cards, or sending cash in the mail. Now let's also briefly talk about IPVanish support. IPVanish offers the following channels for support: 24/7 live chat support, email support, and telephone support. I tested out the live chat a few times and there were no major issues. In some cases, however, it could take 5 minutes or more to connect with a chat representative. However, GoPu as you can see in the screenshot below, was very helpful. The IPVanish website also contains some great guides and informational articles on various topics. These are all accessible from the knowledge base and in the members area, as you can see in the screenshot over here on the right side. You should be able to get everything set up just using the guides in the members area, but if you have any problems, that you can try chat support or just send them an email. Now we have reached the review conclusion, and not recommended. On the whole, IPVanish has lots of room for improvement, especially in the area of VPN speeds. IPVanish is also somewhat lacking with features, especially in comparison to other big names such as NordVPN and ExpressVPN. One of the biggest issues when choosing a VPN or any other privacy tool is trust. The previous case of IPVanish cooperating with the FBI to collect and share user data definitely undermines that trust, even if it did take place under a previous management structure. Also concerning is that IPVanish is based in the US and completely falls under US laws. So who knows if this could happen again. For those of you that don't know, the US is part of the Five Eyes Alliance network, which is bad news for online privacy logs and VPN providers. Considering all the drawbacks, I can't recommend this VPN. There are simply too many other good services on the market.